Okay, so welcome back. This is part one of how to make this robotic arm. I'm going to talk you through each stage and you can pause it, rewind it or skip sections if you feel like you know what you're doing. So for this part we're making the base. So if I pull this robotic arm apart, if I lift that off, this is what we're making first. So this is the base. So you need a nice solid base to hold the weight of your robotic arm. So this is the part we're going to make first. So as you can see, it's got a skewer sticking up to allow me to put the arm onto the base, so it allows you that ability to move it. And that could be automated with pneumatics as well. So for this part, I'm just going to move these bits out of the way. You need cardboard, skewers, and something to cut the cardboard, measure the cardboard. So the first thing I'd recommend is that you measure. Obviously these measurements are critical for the base, but when we're looking for the next engineer and the next operative manufacturer, we are looking that you can use a basic engineering skill. So measuring is key. So you need to make sure you're measuring with accuracy, so you should be measuring to the nearest millimetre. So I do believe that these are 200 millimetres, so yeah, it's fine. So what I did for these, here's some I've made earlier to make it quicker. I've measured the length using a set square. I'm measuring a line at 90 degrees and then measuring 200 this way. The same here. So this measuring technique is known as marking out in engineering. So you may have come across that before, or you may not. But this is me marking out. So I'm marking the line and then I'm going to cut it. Now when I'm cutting, you could use scissors, but I'm looking for precision. So this is where I'm using my craft knife. So I'm using the cutting board so the material doesn't slip and I don't damage my desk. I'm using a safety ruler, and the safety ruler's got a ridge for safety. So if I slip with a knife, it'll chop the ruler, not my hand. I'm exposing a little part of the blade and locking it, and I'm cutting once, twice, 3 times through that corrugated cardboard. Doing the same here. You may need to cut through it a little bit more, and there we go. Okay, so that's that process done. So once you finish with your craft knife, unlock it, retract it for safety, and then put it to the side. Don't leave it lying around like that, because that can cause an accident. So what I've done to make it a bit more of a solid base, because the card's thinner than previous card that I've used, I've taken a piece and I've got a new sheet of card and I've literally just used it as a template to make the marking out process a bit quicker. So I've made 3 of those. So once you've done that, that's the bottom part of the base. I've then added a smaller square, so I've measured that slightly smaller and I've created 3 to go on top. So I've got now a solid base. What I need to do now is connect all those together and then add a skewer in the centre. So if I put all these down out of my way, before I start assembling these, I need to measure and mark out the centre of this square. So I'm just going to mark out the centre here. Now because I'm using a mechanical pencil I can be more precise, but a normal sharp pencil should do the trick. Okay, so I'm finding the centre and then I'm going to mark a centre point either side. Now be prepared that when you're making this, that this part's the easier part, because there's no critical points really. Okay, so there's my centre point, that's where I'm going to put the skewer in the middle. So what I need to do now is get a skewer with a sharp end. And place those together, just save me a bit of time. and pierce a hole in the centre. There you go. Pushing that through. It's just really careful that you don't put your hand behind the skewer when you're pushing it through. So that's going to sit in there. So what I'm going to do is just trim that using the secateurs, but you could use scissors as well. Be careful it doesn't flick. Move that to the side. And now you're just going to sandwich these together. So I'm using a glue gun, but you could just use double-sided tape actually. I'm just going for speed, so I'm just putting a small glob of glue on each side to layer it up. Slightly different side actually. Okay. Doing the same again. So actually the base is quite simple to manufacture. Why that piece is slightly smaller in the middle. So now it's not critical that I get the measurement right on this base, but it will be when you're making the moving mechanical arm. So what I'm going to do now with this piece is I'm going to put glue on the bottom of that. So I need to make sure I don't get any glue in that centre at the moment. Place that in the middle. Now I did just use my eye, but you could measure that, but like I say, it's not a critical piece. But what will be critical now is that you make sure that is on top, because you want that hole in the middle. Okay, so that is your base. Now I'm going to reduce the size of the skewer. Okay, probably only want it about... Now you notice I've not really given you any measurements, because actually what I want you to do as an engineer is I want you to explore and experiment with different sizes. Now what you've got to be prepared is that it might not work, but we're not looking for you to create something and to work straight away. We're looking for you to create lots of developments and iterations, we call them in design and technology. So that should be vertical. Okay, so it needs to be upright. And actually, now we're looking at it now, it's probably a little bit too high. So I'm just going to trim it slightly. Safely, there we go. Okay, so that's the base, that's the first part. So that's pretty easy to manufacture. Have a go at doing that, and then when you've done that, the next part we're going to show you is how to do this frame here. Okay? Thank you for listening.